I want to welcome everybody on this live on this Saturday, hoping that you are having awesome and amazing. Hoping you're having an amazing Saturday. Listen, guys, we're at the end of the month. I am so super excited. And here's why I'm super excited is because June has so many amazing things happening. I cannot even begin to tell you what's happening in the month of June. Today, I'm doing my first coaching call with my paid subscribers. I'm so super excited about that, as well as just setting things up for intention. Right, like I'm setting things up for intention for June, and I wanted to just hop on and see how you guys are doing. I know a lot of times we get busy. We're trying to figure out like what we're planning on doing. It's summertime. The kids are out of school now. So it's full blown summertime and we're just kicking back and we're relaxing, right? Well, I want to ask you this question because I was doing a talk last night on TikTok and we were talking to a bunch of ladies about what are you going to release? What are you going to release before you even head into the month of June? And I know that for me, I am doing a 10-day new me challenge detox for the next 10 days, right? And so I said, for me, I'm going to release snacking, right? Because I love to snack. Can I just be transparent? Like I love to snack and have a way of getting to your waistline, right? And to your all of these things like this. And I just want to make sure that I set myself up for intentional eating on next month. And so while I'm doing that, I realize that I cannot be in my pantry just picking up random stuff. And so I know that it is not I wouldn't say it's more so emotional eating. It's just because I just want to have something inside my mouth, right? And so that's what I am releasing. On top of that, we were talking last night on TikTok about the art of letting go, is that I want to make sure that my emotions are where they need to be. And I know some of you are amazing writers. You guys are amazing business owners. You guys do health and wellness on this app. You guys do a whole lot of stuff. I mean, like, I'm just blown away of how some of you have walked away from your 9 to 5 and decided to go all in on Substack. Some of you have decided that you were no longer going to hide behind the scenes, but step forward with your story. Can I just want you to clap it up for yourself first, right? Good morning, Butch. I want you to clap it up for yourself first. I want you to congratulate yourself for you came from January all the way down to May, to the end of May. We have one more day left in this month. And I want you to celebrate yourself because a lot of time we don't stop to celebrate ourselves because we think that we're not further along like somebody else. So we feel that we haven't accomplished everything that we said that we was going to accomplish from January down to now. Good morning, those that are coming into the chat. Good morning, good morning. And so, or good afternoon because I'm on here like on Arizona time. So it's still early morning here for us. And so I want you to celebrate yourself first because a lot of times we celebrate everybody else for what they're doing, but it's the small things for me, right? Like, so I would be celebrating having, my first coaching call with my subscribers that paid for that tier. And so I'm super excited for that because we're going to set the tone for for June, right? We're setting an intention on what we're going to be working on for the month of June. And what things are you setting your attentions for? Like, are you going to make sure that you're doing more notes? Are you going to make sure that you show up consistently? Are you going to make sure that you make some time and schedule how you're going to navigate when life starts lifing? Because all that takes intention. You can't just let it go. Oh, I'm going to catch it as it comes. No, you have to be intentional. Like, so if this shows up, what's going to be my reaction, right? What's going to be my gameplay? And even though we can't control all of the outside factors, but what we can do is control us. I'm going to say that again for the people that's riding on the bus with me and we ride fast, right? We can't control how we're going, what our emotional state is going to be. So for me, I have to make sure that I wake up and I spend that time with God first, get in direction, spend that time in prayer and worship time to set the tone on how I want my day to go. Because if I don't, then the world is going to set the tone on how my day should go and how I should think and how I should move. Whereas when I set the tone, like I don't pick up my phone the first thing in the morning. I let that sit right there because I want to spend that time of collecting my thoughts before I hit traffic or if I go see a client. However my day is supposed to go, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? I'm not just doing it on the whim based on because I could sit in traffic for hours and it will throw my whole day off. But I can't let that do that because that's just part of life of sitting in traffic wherever you go. I don't care what city you're in, right? So what things are you going to not no longer allow to control you come June? And I'm that coach that I tell you, don't pick 5, 6, 5 things because then you won't pick nothing. Pick one thing that you said, listen, I am going to work on being honest with myself. Come on, because like we talked about this on the call last night. I'm gonna be honest about myself. I'm gonna be honest where I am. I'm gonna be honest about that feeling. I'm gonna be honest about my situation. Here's why. Because when you tell the truth, it has no place to hide. That means that you have to call that thing out, name it, and then deal with it. And so we had plenty of ladies that say, listen, I'm calling out fear. I'm calling out procrastination. I'm calling out self-doubt because that is a real live emotion that still run rapid right today, that people are so afraid that they don't even make a decision to move. They just stay stuck where they are. And so like, I don't want you to stay stuck for the next 7 months because you're like, well, what if it happens? What if it doesn't happen? But here's the thing, you need to ask yourself a better question. But what happens if it does happen? Am I prepared for when my Substack do go viral? Am I prepared when I start getting subscribers in? Am I prepared when people subscribe to me? Right? So it's like, I didn't wait until I started getting a whole lot of folks. No, I started doing the work now. So when a whole lot of folks show up, I don't have to get ready. I stay ready. I'm going to say that again. When a whole lot of folks start showing up and start reading my articles, then I don't have to get ready and find out what I'm going to write about. I just already start putting it out. So when they show up, there's something already in the tank that they can read. There's something that's already in my page description. They can start doing the work because I'm that coach that we're going to do the work. We're just not sitting here to subscribing to another Hulu Netflix subscription. No, this is about the inner work that we all have to do because nobody has arrived yet. Because if you have arrived, then you already need to be gone up to heaven so you and God can spend some time together, right? So because we still woke up this morning and we still have another opportunity, that tells me that we still have an assignment. We all have an assignment and we have to water our assignment. So I know for me that I will make sure that for the next 7 months, I'm watering my assignment. I'm not looking at what anybody else is doing on this platform. Why? Because you'll get distracted. You're like, okay, well, somebody else got 1.4K subscribers. Somebody else may got 10 point, whatever subscriber. And then I follow people that just may have 56 people. 56 people. But here's the thing, they're nurturing those 56 people. I want to say now, like I may be up myself, maybe, I don't know, like I stopped watching the numbers. Here's why. Because if you get fed by the numbers can starve you. I'm going to say that again. If you get fed by the numbers, then the numbers can starve you because as soon as somebody unsubscribes, then like you think something is wrong. As soon as somebody stops paying, you think something is wrong. No, that's not it. That could just mean that their season with you is up. I tell people this all the time. It's like everybody's not for you and they shouldn't be for you because if you have a certain way of doing things, everybody's not your tribe. And so I tell people that I want the tribe that wants to be with me. I don't accept everybody inside of my coaching program because everybody is not for me. I don't care how much money you pay me. You're not for me after I give you in a consultation talk. And I realize if you are right for what my coaching is all about. Here's why, because then if you're controlled by the money, then when the money stops, then you are totally lost. You're confused. You're trying to figure out, should I switch up? Should I change? No. Doesn't mean that along the way that you're not going to have to tweak some things, of course, because you're still learning, you're still becoming. That was the whole reason why I came up with the Comeback Corner, is because I knew for personal self what it's like to come from the very bottom. Right? Like start all over again from a devastating situation that almost took me out from here. Right? Like it really had my mind in a dizzy turtle. And I'm like wondering, can I come back from this? Can I come back from this so devastating that I felt that messed up my reputation, right? That I thought that I could not come back, but I realized that I could come back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And so when I made that decision that just 3 years ago that I had committed a crime that would have left me devastated, broken, and beaten, but it did not. I took that and I turned that probation number and I turned it into a platform. And when I turned it into a platform, I did not know how big my platform was going to be, because I'm thinking like I had this persona right about myself. Like I'm speaking, I'm teaching, I'm coaching. I'm like, well, what would my clients think about me when they found out that I did such a thing? Right. And so when I finally got real with it and I talked about it, and God be the glory. I can just say that God be the glory. Here's why, because then like a young lady not too long ago had put me on her podcast. It's called the Burning Letter Podcast. And I told my complete story. Do you ladies and gentlemen know that podcast now that folks have been just hitting me up like, I saw you on your podcast, right? Well, because I told my story and I was authentic about my story. And because I realized that I had to release the anger, I had to release the fear, I had to release the shame. Number one, I had to release the embarrassment, because if I had not, I would still be stuck today. And a lot of us are stuck in places that has no longer served us any good. Like he's ready, God is ready for you to move on because he's already forgiven you. And he said, okay, well, let that go, because that's not your identity. And when I realized that felony is not my identity, it's just a part of a chapter in my book. I'm gonna say it again for the people that's riding down with me, 4 flies on the Pinto. That's just a part of my story in my book. And so when I tell my story in my book and I keep turning the pages, as far as I know, at the end of the story, I'm victorious. So at the end of your story, you are victorious. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care what setbacks you've had. You are victorious at the end of the book, at the end of your journey. But here's why. Because he said that you're the head and not the tail. He says you above and not beneath. He said you can do all things. And when I stood on that, I could do all things. There's nothing that I cannot do when I set my mind to do it. And I tell you guys that I wasn't even going to be on Substack until I kept seeing it popping up. And then I got to the point that then I did my first webinar. I had never done one. And so when you put yourself out there, when you become vulnerable before people, now I'm going to tell you this, and people may not say, because I'm right in the middle of my whole journey, is that yes, they're going to talk about you. They're going to say things about you, but you got to have some skin like a rhino up in here. Okay. I say the stick skin like a rhino. Here's why, because, okay, even the man that did no harm, they talked about him the same way. So what I do is I put my blinders on and I don't look to the left and I don't look to the right, because they're going to talk about you anyway. So you might as well just go ahead on and be doing your assignment. Here's why, because I'd rather be doing my assignment than not doing his assignment. Come on, somebody. I'd rather be doing this assignment than not doing what he told me to do. Why? Because I saw last night that my assignment was so much bigger than I could ever dreamed of. And can I tell you that I was on that call for 3 hours and women crying, and they just like, oh my God. Why? Because I was where I was supposed to be. Now, the other day when I did my live, I had 2 people on it. And I told those 2 people, I said, if I were to not show up tonight, I wouldn't be able to talk to those 2 women. See, you're thinking about because you have nobody yet on Substack. You're thinking because had nobody subscribed. But listen, there are people that are secretly watching you. They may not comment, they may not follow, they may not do anything, but they're secretly stalking your page. Can I tell you guys that? They're like, okay, I'm gonna see what she's gonna write today. I'm gonna see what he's gonna write today, because I'm so down with that. I just saw with somebody actually restack one of my notes. Right? So when I start seeing that, then I start, then I go and I comment that there's one guy that left a whole dissertation on my note. I went back and left him a whole dissertation back. Why? Because whatever that young man read in my notes, it touched him. And so we responded back and forth through our notes. Now, I'm not saying that you got all the time to answer every single body's, like when you start getting 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. But what I got a short many people, I'm like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep going. But if I had not released the shame of a crime that I did, if I had not released the guilt, if I had not released, okay, if I had not released the ego and say, listen, that's not you. And if I had not humbled myself, and if I had not gotten around the right people too as well, because I'm not going to tell y'all that it did not make me have to go, and I got me an amazing therapist. And we walked through every step by step, inch by inch, and I dealt with everything. And then when I finally had, and here's the bigger thing, guys, I had to tell my children. See, that's the thing. I had to tell my children. So for me to tell my children, that was the hardest part ever. Not telling you guys, but telling them. Why? Because I am the hierarchy of my family. I am the one that's supposed to set the tone. I am the one that's going to break several general curses that's over our family lineages. And so when that happened, I'm like, God dog, like I ain't no better than the last joker that was in my family. But here's the thing. I read a story right in this book that it told me that even Jesus had sinners, he had prostitutes, he had liars, he had adulterers, he had all these people in his line, and yet still he is the most talked about man still right today, 2,000 years later. So you're thinking because what you have done that folks ain't gonna be talking about your story? You mean that your great grandchildren was not gonna talk about how brilliant that you were? You're telling me that what you did back in 1975 is going to affect what you're supposed to be doing in 2030? Because 2030 is just around the corner. They're gonna say, hey, listen, because the children, because I'm a children author. What my grandson now can say that his nana is a children. So you're looking at Black history in live and color. That's what I think about myself. When he looks and go on Amazon and he sees that his nana has books and journals on Amazon, he said, oh my God, look at what my nana can. Then so can I. He can say, so can I can do that. So you're thinking because you hadn't made the first move yet that you can't make it, but you can. Because why? You're going to release the procrastination. You're going to release the fear. You're going to release the thing that is holding you back. Because can I tell you that person that hurt you, they living their best life right now. Can I tell you that that situation that happened to you is no longer is living its best life now? I told them this last night. There was a young man that was saying that he was going through something, right? Like he didn't really want to give, but he gave bits and pieces. And I asked him, I said, well, how old are you, baby? Because, you know, guys, I'm almost 60. So I said, well, how old are you, baby? He said 40. I said, okay, like I got kids your age, right? And so I told him, he was like, I just don't know how to forgive people. Like, I just don't trust anybody. Now, this is amazing how the enemy will work with old trauma and old scars and old pains. The enemy wants you to remember and not have you trusting nobody. He's going to have you out there on an island, stranded with no boat, by yourself. And you wonder how you got there. And I told the young man, I said, well, because, you know, you were so bold and so tenacious to call that thing out. I told him that I was going to send him a gift, right? And so like, I'm going to send that to him today. But here's the thing, is that I can only speak from a woman's perspective, and I cannot speak for a man's perspective. But having an African-American son is that I had to tell him that we're living in a fallen world. I mean, like everybody can agree with me. Yes, we live in a fallen world, and everybody's not going to be down for you, and everybody's not going to like you, and everybody's going to, you know, they're going to think that your nose too big and your ears too pointed, and, you know, whether or not you got hair or don't have any hair, they're going to find something wrong, right? So, but what I did tell him is that, but you have the choice of whether you want to receive that or not. I'm going to say that again, real slow. You have the choice on whether or not you want to receive that or not. I tell people at this stage in my life, you have to earn VIP access to me. Everybody don't have VIP access. Now you have general mission. Come on, somebody. You got general mission access. Like if I see you, I'm speaking to you, hey, boo-boo, hey, baby. But to be in my inner circle, that takes VIP access. Why? Because I work too hard for my peace. I work too hard for my joy. I work too hard for my mindset, for my mental health. And so I'm going to sit back and watch you first. I'm going to see the fruit that comes from your tree first. Because every tree that you see, even though it's bearing fruit, don't mean it's good fruit. Come on, somebody. It don't mean it's good fruit. It may look good to eat, but it don't mean that it's good food for it to be in your garden. Come on, somebody. It may not be good for your garden, your garden, your garden. And so, like, I let those trees be in somebody else's garden. Why? Because I have to tend to my fruit and make sure that there are no weeds in my garden. And so, like, as he was talking, I said, listen, are you going to allow yourself to live in your own personal prison? Because I tell people, like, I know it's like to sit in a prison cell, but luckily God, I wasn't only in there but for 5 hours, right? And 5 hours was enough for me, y'all, because I don't look good in orange. And that right there was enough for me. Okay. That was enough for me. But I did tell him, I said, are you going to live in your own personal prison that only you have the key? Only you are the warner of your own personal jail? Come on. Because I'm hearing children in the background say, so you teaching your children that they can't do better? You teaching your children what they can't do? Because they're watching you. They're watching you on whether or not you are going to be the monarchy of your family. You're teaching them fear. You're teaching them that life ain't fair. But life ain't been fair for nobody, y'all. So I told him, I said, you have to let it go first before you allow your children to see you let it go. Before they're able to let it go. Your wife needs to see you let it go. Your co-workers need to see it. So when they see you and they're like, wow, they're not the same person. They don't talk the same. They don't even look the same. What happened? I let it go. I start forgiving people, even though they never came back to apologize. I forgave them. Why? Because I don't want to be in my own personal jail cell holding the key. And I'm sitting there talking about, let me out. Absolutely not. But as soon as I released them and let them go, know that they was not going to come back and say they're sorry, that they weren't going to say, you know what, I messed up. No, they wasn't. So I'm good. Life is good. Now, does that mean that, you know, life doesn't still be life for me? Of course not. But because I'm in the place that I am right now, I see things from a different perspective. So as we go into June, see it from a different perspective. See it from a place that the glass is always full. And even though it may look empty, it's still full. It's still full of potential. It's still full of opportunities. It's still full of joy, peace, all of these things. Because listen, guys, people want to hear your story. People want to know what is about you that they want to see more of you of. And take your time. There's no rush. I like the passage in the Bible. It says that it's not given to the swift or to the strong, but the one that endures to the end. I'm going to say that again. The race is not given to the swift or to the strong, but to the one that endures to the end. That is for those that no matter what, how fast you go, how slow you go, it's your being consistent that matters. And it may not happen this year, may not happen next year. It might happen 18 months from now. But isn't it amazing thing to see the person that you become in 18 months? How much you have matured in 18 months? How much more of your wings have come out in 18 months? I love the butterfly. I have several tattoos. And they all are resembling around a butterfly. Why? Because the metamorphosis that a butterfly has to go through is tremendous. It is something else. And the best thing I like about it is that you cannot cut a butterfly or a moth out of its cocoon too early. Why? Because it needs that struggle to lubricate its wings. Because if you cut it out, it never knows that struggle and it would never fly. It's going to always be handicapped. Ooh, that's for somebody. It's going to be handicapped. So it has to struggle to get the lubrication out of the cocoon that it's in, so it has the ability to fly wherever it needs to fly. So all of your agitation, all of your struggles, it was your lubrication to give you the ability to what? Fly. So if you're going to fly for the next 6 or 7 months, then yes. Because as soon as you said yes to this platform, as soon as you said, I want more, as soon as you said that I want a better opportunity, not only for myself, but those that are connected to me or coming behind me. As soon as you said that word, then there you go. Everything else came with it. Everything else of it being silence, it being cricket, everything else came with that. And you're like, man, I didn't ask for it. Trust me, y'all. I know I didn't ask for it either. But I did say that word. And when it came up, here we are today. So I'm hoping that you guys do that one thing for me, okay? And write in the comment, yeah, please leave me a comment because I love you guys so much and ain't nothing that you can do about it. Is that let me know the one thing that you plan on releasing and stepping into June with much intention, much power. Because I want to know. Legacy, come on now. Greetings. Yes, legacy, come on. Because listen, if it's not going to happen through you, then who? Come on. If it's not going to happen through you, then who? Who? Yes, we could leave it to somebody else, but what if somebody else never show up? And if he put it in your spirit, most 99.9% is something that you can do about it. Most 99% of the time is something that you can help. So that being said, I love you guys. Give a hug and a kiss and a smile today because the life that you change will be somebody else, but the life that you change will be your own. Guys, have an awesome and amazing Saturday.